Hey, Ted here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for SP500 with Elliott Wave Theory. If you want to educate yourself and support me, you can take a look at Patreon, where you can find Elliott Wave Basics course, access to weekly live streams and extra content overall. Thank you for your support. Let's get into the analysis next. Starting here on 1 hour time frame, we've had this structure from the October 13th lows for quite some time. Again, the idea was that we could have had this as a A, B and C, creating a structure like this, or WXY. Let's get this adjusted here. Or we could be having this as basically a leading diagonal as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the bullish case. And of course, there are structures where we could end up the corrective structure here as well. And this defining structure here, which is a 5-way structure, would be an ABC. Again, multiple different ways of looking at the market at the moment. But what we need to be focusing on at the moment, in my opinion, is that we have a 5-way structure here. Now, this can be a start of something or an end of something. If we go beyond this high over here, 41.83, then we can confirm that this indeed was a 5-way move that ended something. Now, that does not mean that we are overly bullish. That means that we could have this as an ABC as well. And I have, again, that corrective structure here, this ABC structure, ABC, saying that we have a potential high here, creating a 3-way structure like so, 3 ways down, and now we'll be looking to create another leg like this one, correctively climbing higher to create that WXY pattern. If we want to be more bullish, we could be looking at that contracting diagonal that would be ending here, and again we would be utilizing this exact same expanded flat here into the lows here, and then again this would be that ending of something. As mentioned at the start, this could be also an end labeled as such. This X wave is kind of questionable, but again, there's nothing invalid about this, unfortunately. So there is also a chance that this is the start of something until we break these highs. So once we see that, if these are breaking or if we are going to get a continuation downside, then and only then we can be more basically confirming one count over another. So we can check out which of these are going to be playing out more likely. But let's check out the smaller time frames. Again, as mentioned, this is more towards the downside, so this is the bearish count locally, where we would have this as a start of something coming down. So this would be actually a wave 1 or wave A, of course, of something coming down. So let's label that minuet now, and then we would be looking for a 3-way pullback upwards. This should be actually a different degree, but yeah, the idea is that wave 1, 2, or wave A, B downwards. Again, we don't know which one is going to be playing, if this count is even going to be playing out. But again, the main thing here on this bearish count would be that we would be getting this structure downwards. So that would be the more defining structure at the moment. At the moment, we would have this as 3 waves into W, very extended ABC here. Again, not the best look, but something that we have to deal with at the moment. And then we would have this as an ABC instead. Very close to that 1-to-1. We did not tag it. We got some kind of drop here just before the close. But again, that's that. We are also very close on the 1.618, depending on where we are going to be labeling this end, or basically the start of this wave A. And then we can be looking at this 1.618. If we go any higher, basically from these Friday's close, then we can start to say that this is very, very unlikely, because we don't want to be seeing the B wave go beyond 1.618 retracements of that wave A. But yeah, at the moment, the only option that we can see for this count would be that we would be creating a structure coming down. Either it's going to be a 3-wave or 5-wave. I'm going to be preferring the 5-way structure as in the form of C, because we have taken out this origin of wave A here. So again, that is giving us more probability of having that as a C wave instead. So a impulse wave structure like so, if we are going to be dumping, get in on that pullback against the highs, and then off we go. If that happens, again, nothing is for sure. but that is the more bearish count. After that C wave would be done, we would be again expecting this C wave to be quite extended. Why? Because overall the wave Y of this larger degree wave structure here would be expected to go to the 1-to-1. And if the invalidation is already at the 4180 area, we need this wave X to be as low as possible to give the wave Y enough space to be getting us to that 1-to-1. Most likely taking out these highs would be very, very nice, as if we would be coming down here, people would have probably a lot of stop losses here. So again, liquidity wise, that is a target later on if this plays out. Now, the more bullish option. As mentioned before, the overall bullish option here would be that very ugly diagonal here at the start, and then we would have that expanded flat into these lows. And then we would have another contracting leading diagonal where we would have A, B, C into wave 1, A, B, C into 2, A, B, C into 3, 4, and then 5. Again, kind of ugly looking structure. Some of these definitely seem to have more of a 5-way structure look than anything else, but this is the only way I can get a more bullish count into these structures. So we have to go with this. Now, smaller time frames, 3-way structure into that wave 2. This is exactly the same as we had for the more bearish structure, although depending on where you want to be labeling this, we could be labeling one step or one high lower or before the more correct structure. So 3-way structure like so into that wave 2. Then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 5th here. Overall, we would be getting that as a micro 1. Then 3-way pullback if we need to be going a bit. I think I'm just going to be deleting all this. I was looking into the substructures and trying to make sense of this. So I had this as a WXY overall, and we don't need to be looking into the subwave structures at the moment, as long as that is fine. And then we would have an ABC coming down for that wave 2. Let's get back into the higher time frame. At the moment, as mentioned on the bearish count, we are very close to that 1-to-1 that I have labeled here as well. Overall, we can still have this as a 1-2, 1-2 setups, but as we saw on the higher time frame, this structure here is already a wave 1, 2. Then this would be another 1, 2, a 1, 2. And if we need to be going into smaller time frames and seeing more and more these 1, 2s, is going to be making it less likely to happen. I'm not saying it's impossible to have this many nested patterns visible on a chart, but either this is the much needed rocket fuel for all of the markets, or this is something else. And whenever we see more than 3 of these nested patterns together, the favor or the probability goes towards something else and not the nested pattern. So keep your expectations still somewhat reasonable. I'm not expecting this to be a 1-2, although again RSI here has reset itself, so we could have this as a 1-2, another 1-2, 1-2. Of course we can have that, or we could be having this as some kind of diagonal. I think this is actually too small here. Yeah, it is just smaller, this structure over here, than this one, so we can't really. Let's actually make it proper pivots. But again, we are on the futures chart at the moment, so I'm not quite sure which one we should be favoring. But yeah, we can see that this structure here is smaller than this one, which would make it not probable and basically invalid, saying that this was a wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. But yeah, we could also always have this as a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. But again, as this is larger than this one, it would be a bit weird seeing a smaller degree of structure larger than this one if we had that very much nested pattern. So keep your expectations still under control here. There is of course a possibility that this is something else and I just don't see it. Maybe we have some kind of diagonal in here, but I can't measure it here. Of course, maybe it's like that, and this would be the 5th wave. Maybe that is the most reasonable. Maybe that is the 3. yeah, it's more of a channel than any contraction here. But I guess we could label this as another one too. But at that point, we want to be seeing it coming a bit down. But as this is a leading diagonal, or we have to assume it's a leading diagonal in this bullish count, we would not really expect this to retrace more than the 0.5. The 38.2 is very common to see on these retracements after leading diagonals, because again, those are the more bullish structures. But again, they are more hard to catch because again, they have that overlap, making them mimicking the basically the more corrective structures overall. So again, they are harder to catch, but once you catch them, or if you catch them, they're going to be rewarding. But I think those are the two scenarios I'm going to be looking for during market open, and probably on the futures before that as well. So if you again made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.